Hi all, welcome to a little bit of a different idea on the channel. It is a what if Rodgers had joined Leicester from the start of the season. Now this is just a bit of fun. If this is an idea you'd like me to do for other teams in the leagues around the world, let me know in the comments down below, folks. So if you can smash the likes would be awesome. Sub to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter at @GIsALegend. All the links are down below for playlists in the channel and social media links as always. Now basically our target is to start from the start of the season with Rodgers as our manager. Now basically I'm assuming the target realistically for Leicester is 7th. The reason why I'm saying 7th or a cup is because realistically I get the impression from a lot of fans that they expect 7th in the league and then progress from there. I'd imagine the objectives that will be set will probably be near around 8th to maybe say 10th, which I can understand, but for the challenge, and it's kind of like a challenge but it's also a what if as well. It's a bit of fun. I thought, since obviously he's now left Celtic to go to Leicester, I thought it'd be a bit of fun. All I'm going to do is I'm aiming to bring 2 or 3 players into the squad that I would imagine would fit not just only fit the team but the actual improvements that are kind of needed for the team. Because obviously they've lost Drinkwater, they've lost Kante, they've lost Mahrez in recent seasons. It's a case of saying, right, it's like trying to say, it's almost like saying we've got all the money that's sitting in the club spare, what do we do to improve it? Now at the moment, as you can see, this is what we've roughly got to work with. Now players like Harvey Barnes are back in the team, and anyone that left in January is out of the team obviously. But when I look at some of the ratings for the squad and looking at the formation, I ain't going a 4-2-3-1. I'm going to go 2 up front. That is where the biggest problem with Leicester is. So expect me to kind of maybe sell a few of these players, loan some of the younger talent out. But Schmeichel, Maguire, Vardy, probably Madison, Tielemans, these type of players will be important. But for me, at the moment, we are focusing our efforts on getting Amartey out to Cardiff for £7 million. They offered, I kind of want 7.5. That's pretty much, I feel, more than enough, and it gets them out. We kind of need as much money as we possibly need. Now the biggest problem is, and as you see, we kind of get a lot of loan offers and a lot of deals like that, so they're no problem. Get them done and dusted. The biggest focus that I'm noticing at the moment is obviously trying to, behind the scenes, is scout players. And as you see, we got a result against Wolfsburg to win us the pre-season cup. I just simmed the whole pre-season cup. I wasn't overly fussed. So we've decided to focus our efforts on Kerem Demarai Bey of Hoffenheim. This may be a unrealistic transfer, could be a realistic transfer. I feel he is perfect for fitting into the club. We start off at 25 million and they're kind of setting their guns at 41.5. Now, I've not done as much career mode as I would normally do, and I genuinely did not expect this to be such a problem. I noticed this in my second transfer, and that's why I didn't want to really show it. But what I find interesting is the wage aspect is so easy to sort out. Like, people don't want demanding high wages. It's the transfer wages is where the problems are. Like, I thought 25, I thought current value, I thought it might go at most say another 10 million. I thought 35 would probably be enough. I think partly because I've tried to get them in early before the start of the season, that is what I think. There must be a mechanic in the system somewhere. The later you give it, the transfer value decreases. So the AI is determined 41.5, and I'm trying everything in my path to just be like, right, let's try and get this as low as possible, because we know fundamentally I want to get 2 players in. It takes to £41 million to finally get them. I'm like, what on earth? I was like, this is just absolutely mental. Now, after sealing the Demarai Bey deal, we'll focus our efforts on Joseph Martinez. Obviously, Almiron is now at Newcastle. We thought, might as well look at Martinez. We need another decent striker. I wasn't going for a Kramaric. I thought, I'm not crippling Hoffenheim even further, and Kramaric used to play for the team. But I feel Martinez is just more than capable, and I felt, well, his wage isn't exactly big at the moment, so I thought realistically it might be a chance to get a decent wage bill in And we got Martinez for £30 million, which was actually some cracking business. When I tried to get him the first time, when offered 25, it was like 45 was what was wanted, and it suddenly took to 30 million. So after a bit of to and froing with the team, we're now in a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, and I actually feel this team could work. Now the thing is, I will be training up like Iheanacho, I'll train up Demarai Gray, Maddison accordingly. Chilwell. I want to kind of get the team improved as I see fit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the month of August and the month of January for Simon, and the reason being is just to kind of show how the season goes, but I'm not going to show how we are in the table during January. I'll show it during August just to kind of obviously give a flavour of how the team is performing, and at the moment it's clearly evident, despite bringing in new talent, training and just generally improving the team accordingly, things aren't working. Something is not going to plan. Now, objective wise, I'm only focusing on trying to do the cups. I'm not too fussed about the youth objectives or anything like that. I want to just set the objective of trying to either win a cup or achieve like they're set the target of 10th. I want 7th or 6th. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. And we lose against Fleetwood in the cup. I tweaked the team a bit. Like I put down, I thought despite what I was bringing in, I thought we'd still be strong enough. Now we sim all the way to January, and we've got the FA Cup against Plymouth. Now I would assume I'm not going to make quite the same mistakes, but hopefully the team is still strong enough that it can get a result. That is what you hope. Get a result in the cup, get a run. But evidently we lose 1-0, which kind of you're almost thinking to yourself, we must be due the sack. That come January, the whole Brendan Rodgers experiment is just seen as a total disaster. Brendan Rodgers should be sacked. Why is he in charge? There could be, like I would have said, if I was bottom half of the table, and I mean it, if I was say bottom half of the table, looking at the objectives that I was set, and coming January, I honestly think I would be probably getting sacked right now. I honestly believe that. Like, I could have a good January because I'm showing it, or a bad January, yet I still feel the sack would be evident. Like, the only fathomable way, like, the team itself is still improving in parts. Like, Maguire's been going up nicely, Tielemans is going up well, Maddison's been going up well despite being injured for a couple months. So I wasn't faulting that. I had to train him back up. You had to kind of train him. It was kind of, and you kind of, what the good thing is with some of the players, if by putting 2 training sessions on them, it just helps. One good positive I would say from my end is I put a fair bit of training into Iheanacho and Barnes. I felt in the end both of them, like Iheanacho in real life's not kind of ever kicked on since his Man City days, but for Barnes I thought, because obviously he's just had a good season, first half of the season at West Brom, thought it'd be ideal to kind of keep training him up. So final game of the season was a 2-2 draw against Chelsea. Now, if you want me to play games within this as well, rather than just simming practically the whole season, let me know folks. That's kind of obviously why it's like 11 minutes long compared to maybe say 20 or 30 minutes. And we'll finish off with a final training session. Now for me, I don't feel I would say I could have achieved as well as I could have. The cups were a disaster. Like, those objectives, we failed. Youth development, we failed. What else did we kind of fail? Clearly, like t-shirt sales and improving the club, we completely failed as well. Because we've constantly got that objective, that email sent to us pretty much every week. But as you can see, we finished 6th in the end, which, yes, it's great, but at the same time, when I think of the first half of the season, the second half of the season, it was a bit of a disaster. First half, just a flop. Second half is what saved us. We were pretty much bottom half of the league first half of the season, if I'd shown the table. Second half was what saved us. Manchester United winning the league by a point is some doing, but top 5 maybe kind of sort of realistic in a sense. Obviously Chelsea in real life's not performing completely. Arsenal down in 8th might be expected with a new manager in Emery. Maybe the team not performing to their standards, but in a sense the signings of Martinez and Damari Bay proved important, I would say, looking at where we finished. But also the improvements to the team through training of like Barnes, Tielemans, Maddison, Maguire, Chilwell. It's just went a treat really, I feel, and I think that's what's maybe made the difference in the second half of the season. Despite getting ample red cards and numerous injuries across the board, we've managed to achieve what, in my opinion, if I was a Leicester City fan, I'd be delighted with 6th. It's better than 7th, because that's what I was aiming for, and to see Southampton, Huddersfield and Cardiff relegated is maybe not a surprise, but obviously that's what we would expect at the same time. Now, let me know in the comments down below, folks, what improvements with this idea would you like? As I said, would you like me to play games? Would you like me to do things a little bit differently, change the rules around? And would you like me to use other teams like Manchester United for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Would you like me to use Kepa as the Chelsea manager or something like that? Anything that you kind of, anything that's a bit of fun, a bit different. As I said, I found this quite fun. It was a couple hours last night. I thought I might as well have a bit of fun, and it was quite enjoyable just doing this kind of what if challenge, just tweaking it as you see fit. So let me know in the comments down below, folks, all your thoughts. Sub to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter at GasALegend. Smash likes would be massively appreciated, and I will catch you all later.